Well, red mercury would seem to be a top secret scientist-created mercury vapor from a bunch of elaborate stories of scientific bullshit. Now, what they say is that it's attracted to gold and it's repelled by garlic. So maybe they call it Dracula's blood for some crazy reason. So red mercury was determined to be used in the way the Egyptians built their pyramids. They say they used it to move a lot of weight with the use of garlic and gold, these two items here.
Well, first of all, I think we should do an experiment with just the liquid itself to see how it reacts to these two items here.
Definitely. So, all right, let's try this, and let's bring the gold in.
Comes the garlic.
Oh, look at that shit.
Is it moving? It's moving just a little bit. Just a little bit. Hello everybody, and welcome to our July 4th presentation of Dimensions. Today we're going to talk about a subject that I recently was approached with, and that's red mercury. Now, I didn't know really a lot about it when I first heard of it. I had heard mention of it before, but didn't think much of it or looking into it. But it wasn't until our guest tonight, the mad scientist who's going to be with us here in a few minutes, approached me talking about red mercury that I thought it was worth doing a show on. So as far as red mercury goes, it has an uncertain composition. Nobody really knows exactly what it's comprised of, but it was believed to be created for weaponry, nuclear weapons program, and other types of weapon development, other weapon systems, and that is why it is considered top secret, and that is why people don't know much about it. So it is also has been, because it is supposed to be top secret and nobody can verify if it's real or not. So for that reason, it has been considered a hoax. A lot of people believe it was a hoax that was literally made up by con artists in order for them to have a money grab, basically. So red mercury is considered superconductive, and so therefore has been used in high precision weaponry with stealth technology and everything included. So that would be another reason why it's considered top secret, and nobody really knows much about it. It's thought by some people to just be literally to be an invention by in the intelligence community and other criminal gangs and everything, for the purpose literally of deceiving terrorists. So in other words, dangling a carrot for them to go after, in other words. And so it's supposed to be considered by some as literally just bait for rogue states and other terrorist organizations to who are in the market to acquire nuclear technology. So literally like a bait car or something that the police use, where it makes it easy for you to steal, then they bust you for stealing the car, basically, is what some people have said that red mercury was created for. Also, there is another incident in April 2009 where the Saudi Arabian government reported that red mercury was used in Singer sewing machines, that it was literally a component of the needle, so that it was in the needle of the sewing machine. This caused sales of the Singer sewing machine, especially in Saudi Arabian countries, to go up, like way up, and also created a market for that particular sewing machine. Believers of the rumor claim that you could take your cell phone to the machine, and that if the line of your cell phone cut off, then that was proof to you that red mercury was present in the sewing machine, particularly in the needle. So, and that was if it was placed near the needle that would happen. So this caused a mass flow of people trying to acquire these Singer sewing machines. Now, although it says, the report says it was put out by the Saudi Arabian government, the conspiracy theorist in me would want to say it was actually the Singer sewing machine that put that rumor out to increase sales, because it really did increase sales. Although I'm not like much of a conspiracy theorist, I do like listening to them and looking into them, because they do provide good material for shows such as this. There was also references to red mercury in Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, which was a video game in 2006, and so it was called Splinter Cell Double Agent was the name of the video game. Red mercury is used by a terrorist group in that video game. In 1995, also, there was a PlayStation game called Warhawk, where red mercury was present in the game. And also in 2005, there was a movie called Warhawk, which red mercury was the star of that movie as well. In 2013, Bruce Willis did a movie called Red 2, which referenced red mercury. So red mercury has been referenced all throughout the years. Most of us didn't even think about it or pay attention to it. So on tonight's show, we are going to pay attention to it. The mad scientist and I set about to try to obtain some of this red mercury and to run experiments on their peculiar properties. So let's have a look as we bring on the mad scientists as we talk about red mercury on Dimensions, the July holiday special. Okay, welcome everybody. Tonight on Dimensions we have the mad scientist with us. He is going to be discussing what some of you may or may not have heard of, and that's red mercury. So to get started, can you tell us what red mercury is actually?
Well, red mercury would seem to be a top secret scientist created mercury vapor from a bunch of elaborate stories of scientific bullshit. But truthfully, red mercury is something that used to be just a red colored mercury. To get mercury red, it took a different process of manufacturing. But back when I was a kid, thermometers with red mercury, right? You see? So there we go. We have some red mercury. Now, what they say is that it's attracted to gold and it's repelled by garlic. So maybe they call it Dracula's blood for some crazy reason.
So we do have with us, we happen to have garlic.
A clove of garlic.
And gold.
This is.
And gold. Now the trick is, so can you tell us what is legend as far as using red mercury to build the pyramids? Like,
okay, well, a theory that people put out there is that red mercury was used to move a lot of weight, heavy weight, and that it could move huge stones, for in other words. So red mercury was determined to be used in the way the Egyptians built their pyramids. They say they used it to move a lot of weight with the use of garlic and gold, these two items here. So we're going to test that theory.
What is the garlic and gold? What was it used for? What was
Attracting and repelling.
attracting and repelling? So the garlic would repel, correct? So
Yes.
red mercury does not like garlic, apparently.
Yes, hence the name Dracula blood.
Okay, but it is attracted to gold. So in order, they think, to move the stones, they would put red mercury under it, and kind of a back and forth thing, right?
Yeah,
And then it would,
like they were
yeah.
inching it along.
So we've devised an experiment with thermometers, right?
Bought a bunch of thermometers.
And guess what we have, guys? Yeah. So can we demonstrate how the Egyptians moved heavy stones with just a little bit, and garlic and gold? Can we cause this to move? Well, first of all, I think we should do an experiment with just the liquid itself to see how it reacts to these two items here.
Definitely.
So let's do that first. We get our experiment set up. Okay.
Let me get.
We put just a little bit of mercury down there. Ah, yes, just a little smidgen.
All right, let's try this, and let's bring the gold in.
Comes the garlic.
Oh, look at that shit!
Is it moving? It's
Look,
moving
look,
just a
look,
little
look,
bit.
look,
Just a
look.
little bit. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, now let's try it. There we go, guys. Look at how it's all stretched out. All right, hold on. Now we're going to come back out just a little bit. Okay, we got the items here, the golden. Okay, so now what we're going to try to do is, let's put the stone on it and see how that works.
Oh,
Let's put the stone on it. All right, there's the garlic and the gold. Let's see if we can get it to move, guys.
so we're supposed to. That's not working, is it? Yeah. I don't see it.
She's not wanting to move.
Nope, not moving. Okay,
Let's try it this direction like it was going. Yeah.
let's start that part over just real quick, because I was playing with it a little bit.
All right, so now let's try it with the rock. See if we can get it to move, right?
All right, let's try.
Is it moving? 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 What? So here's the deal. So these thermometers that we got right here, it's not red mercury, is it?
No.
So what actually is what we are thinking of as red mercury today?
What we're thinking of red mercury today is not red mercury. It is alcohol that's been dyed red, or mineral spirits, and that's also dyed red. And it expands and contracts, showing the temperature. Working in a sense similar to what mercury did when mercury was actually in thermometers. And I believe it was in the late 80s is when they decided to ban mercury being in thermometers due to children drinking the mercury out of there. And that is extra great camera work from the cameraman there. Just to make it.
Right.
So, not real mercury.
Not real red mercury, huh?
No. But they've made some great movies illustrating what red mercury would do.
We might want to point out that we actually did try to locate and get a hold of red mercury, but it's kind of, I saw online that if you can find it, it sells for about 100 to 300,000 a kilogram.
Which is most likely a scam.
And that's about 2 1/4 pounds if you do the conversion. So, what do we know about red mercury? Is it real? Is it mythological?
Well, there's a lot of, there's actually companies that claim to use red mercury in some of their products. But these are companies that are wireless communication companies that build big wireless infrastructure for long haul bandwidth and stuff like that for their big ISP, well, WISP, internet ISPs. All right, so there's a company that builds wireless technology products, and they claim that they used it in a phased disk array, very small trace amounts of red mercury. It even, for me, to even suggest that mercury be involved in any type of radio waves or transmitters or anything like that, that to me that seems like something that would be counterproductive because it's a dense material. And real dense things have an effect on radio waves. But as far as the effect that mercury has near a radio, I have no idea. That would have to be another video for an experiment.
So do you think red mercury was used to build the pyramids, or was it these guys? A lot of people think it was these guys.
A lot of people believe it was these guys right here.
Yeah.
But from a lot of evidence of things, it seems like technology isn't what it seemed to be back then as it is today. Now, were the people technologically advanced like today? Did they have computers and stuff like that? No. But they had technology. And a hammer is technology, so was a wheel. But how the pyramids were made, I think, is indeed one of the best mysteries on Earth. How were they created? The interesting thing is about the pyramids, that you bring them up, is that there is a lot of copper in them. They, like, almost as if it was a circuit that was been laid out in the building. There are a lot of things about the pyramids that don't make sense, but how they transferred those stones is beyond me.
So it's believed that red mercury is actually in radio technology, right? In other words,
yes.
Old radios. We're talking
very old radios, like tube radios and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I have seen tubes that had mercury in them, but they weren't for transmitting a radio signal as more as they were cleaning a signal that came in. And these are all mostly analog signals, you know, there's no digital signals then, but using it to filter something, more like a resistor, or that's the only thing I can think of the mercury being in there for is for resistance.
So so the inception of the red mercury, is it correct that it was developed for nuclear technology, nuclear weapons?
No.
What? No,
there was no red mercury in the development of nuclear weapons.
I think that was the premise of a movie, right?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it was a movie with a Scientologist as the main guy.
So, red mercury is definitely not a natural element, is it?
No.
It is definitely created.
It is something definitely created in a laboratory that takes a lot of money to heat materials up to those temperatures to get those gases from them.
And I'm curious what it was created for.
That is a good question.
What is it the scientists were trying to achieve in creation of it?
Well, for me, it's hard to call these type of people true scientists, because the true gift of a scientist is he is to observe and report. And what goes on with whatever they did with red mercury, however it may be, there might have been some observing, but there was never any reporting. The experiments that took place with it, or however they did it, however they thought of coming up with it, is beyond me. I think red mercury is a myth. I don't think it's real. I've seen mercury that was red that doesn't make sense to me. But then again, it could have been something that was fake. In today's world, a lot of people have a lot of things that they will claim is real, but it's not. So don't run out and buy a kilogram of red mercury that's on the internet, because most likely that's not what it is.
Most likely, do you think it's literally busting open a bunch of these and selling it? I mean,
it could be these, or it was crack pipes they broke open to sell what was in there. It's not something that's normal. That's now. Do you know how mercury is? How do they come across mercury?
Mercury is a natural element.
That's right.
Yes.
It's not manufactured?
No. It's processed.
It is processed, but it's not manufactured. Yeah. Now, but red mercury is allegedly processed, and
so
it's not something natural.
It's a myth that red mercury is a natural element. Then,
yes,
is what they're trying to say.
Yeah. Now, if it could be something that is no, it's not. It could be something that is manufactured, but always.
So the premise of the movie that we're referring to was the red mercury was used as a trigger, right? Somehow or another.
I think no. The red mercury was the weapon, I believe.
The red mercury was the bomb. Weapon. So it's volatile.
That's what they said. Yes, it was very volatile. But how can mercury be volatile? What happens if you take mercury and you drop it from an airplane and it hits the ground at a real high speed? Does the mercury explode?
No.
What does it do?
It's not going to do anything. It might splatter, but it's still going to pull. You're still going to have a pull. You're still going to pull. That's going to look like.
Why does mercury attract itself together?
Because it's fluid.
Only when it's close enough. It's fluidity, but what is that reaction from?
From attraction of the electrons.
Mm-hmm. It's electromagnetic attraction.
It's like for those who have seen, was it Terminator 2?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The new Terminator, where he turned into that liquid viscosity, and then he all of a sudden.
Yeah, that was a big table they were tilting to get all the mercury to run together.
Oh, so they used mercury in that?
Yeah,
I knew it had mercury type properties, but I didn't know it was actually.
I think it was real mercury they used, and it was a small scale, but movie magic made it look big.
So, moving tables, kind of like what happened here tonight.
Yeah.
Zoom in, and you look like mercury.
It was a very poor attempt of trying to fool somebody, but it did work a little bit, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, it's not feasible to spend a lot of money to make something that would be pretty much pointless. Now, mercury was used in a nuclear weapon, and it was determined that it was way too dangerous to use. It wasn't red mercury, it was real mercury. And the bomb, there was a miscalculation on how big the explosion would be with the amount of mercury they used. And it was a devastator. So they don't use mercury for nuclear weapons. And mercury was not what the trigger of the nuclear weapon was. It was just what they were blowing up at the time.
Now, was it bombs on a small scale, like not necessarily the Unabomber, but someone like the Unabomber? Didn't they use mercury as triggers?
As a switch, yeah.
As a switch.
Yeah. So they had it was mercury in a vial, kind of like a small vial that had two conductors on each side, and there's a conductor in the middle. So if whichever way the vial turned, once he activated the bomb, when you picked up the package, the mercury would shift to one side of the vial, completing the circuit, closing the circuit down and killing people.
Right.
It was pretty dangerous.
So it was used as a switch. It wasn't.
Yeah, and I believe he took them out of thermostats.
Yes, mercury is in thermostats, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's used in thermostats.
So back in the day, was there red mercury in thermometers? Because they were red, right?
They were red.
But it was just regular mercury, correct?
I believe it was just regular mercury. And it might have been dyed, but I don't know how you would dye mercury.
I don't either.
So, but it could have been just the way the glass was, too, as well. But I remember seeing red mercury in thermometers back before mercury was so deemed dangerous. And once it was regulated and mandated for it not to be in thermometers anymore, it's no longer in thermometers.
So now we don't use mercury at all in thermometers
No.
because of that.
Yeah, because
Still use them today in thermostats and probably other things, but
parents didn't tell their children not to drink the liquid that's in the...
well, you do remember the Tide Pod challenge.
Yes, the Tide Pod challenges.
So there's a lot of stuff like that out there. Okay, so there are a lot of conspiracies regarding red mercury all over the internet. In fact, if you type red mercury in Google, you'll get a lot of stuff. Some people doing even news stories claiming it to be real, right?
Yes. The BBC did a news story about red mercury and how it may even have been linked to the pyramids being created and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of misinformation for sure. Red mercury, I'm afraid I don't think it ever existed. If it did, it was kept real secret, that is for sure. And you know, governments are real good about telling people what they do in secret. So always trust your government, as they say. But as far as mercury goes, mercury is considered toxic, dangerous. You shouldn't handle it. And if you do handle it, be safe. Don't bathe in it or try to swim in it. So there's a lot of other conspiracies that deal with red mercury and mercury. But as far as those rabbit holes go, I would say, there was a conspiracy that they used mercury in chemtrailing. So, and that's a whole nother video there about the chemtrails, which I don't think you even have to do anything about chemtrails. Everybody sees them every day.
Thumbnail version for those who don't know, what is chemtrails? Like, without doing a whole other show. Chemtrails real quick
are chemicals that are put in airplanes and aerosoled in the atmosphere, and it's claimed to be the exhaust from burning jet fuel, which it's not. Well, usually when a jet flies over and it's just burning jet fuel, it'll leave a calm trail, but it quickly evaporates, it disappears, it's gone. Now the chemtrails that you see that are being sprayed in the atmosphere are collective different metals. They use aluminum a lot, and that causes the atmosphere to build big storms.
So it's weather control.
It's weather control, yeah. Weather manipulation we've been doing in public since Vietnam.
And it's believed to have mercury as part of its chemical makeup, right?
Yes. Yes. It's believed that they put mercury in that. And even with the BP oil spill, they used mercury in some of their oil cleanup stuff that they say.
So I wonder if Dawn dish soap has mercury in it, guys. I mean, it does repel oil really good.
It does strip oil off of stuff, so. Have you ever seen what happens to someone's hands that wash with Dawn dish soap a lot, or they do a lot of dishes and oh man, their hands get scaly and stuff? It's like it's a harsh chemical. It's like bleach. People don't know how powerful chlorine is. Look at a 1 gallon bottle of bleach, and it's 0.01% active ingredient. So that's way less than 1%.
So another thing too, another thought about the red mercury is, it's believed they used it to build pyramids with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means it was around in ancient times. Yet other conspiracy theories state it was created in a lab by scientists. So
they would not have had the ability to create such a thing back then. I don't think they had airtight sealed laboratories that had furnaces that can get up to 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit to melt certain steels and stuff. In fact, there's a lot of metals back then that didn't exist as it does today, like alloys and stuff that we use.
Stuff that we created.
Yeah, that we created.
Yeah, there was always elements, guys. There was always metals here.
Not natural metal that is found in the ground, but metals that have been found and mixed together and burned together to make alloys.
So that gives another check mark to the possibility of the guys behind you building them. or helping at least to build the pyramids.
This guy.
I mean, we could interview him, but he doesn't seem interested in the least bit.
No, I don't think he cares anymore.
Red Mercury, guys. So
yeah, look it up. It's a fun conspiracy. There's a lot of really fun videos that's funny to watch on the Googly machine, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
and we even got bigger thermometers.
Oh yeah. We were so excited. We were like, we can't wait to see how this red mercury works.
Right.
I would, and if anybody knows, I would love to have one of those little tubes that they show all the time, full of the alleged red mercury.
Well, I mean, this isn't a kilogram, but we could probably make a lot of money on this.
Yeah, we probably could, yeah.
But
and if that was actually mercury right there, this would be a very heavy glass. Very, very heavy glass.
it's a heavy metal, isn't it?
It's very heavy, yeah. I used to have 100 pounds of mercury that I bought. This was back when I was 18, 19 years old, and it was a big container. It was probably maybe this big, and it was only, I don't even think it was it was probably just a little over halfway full. And back then, I got it from a machine shop or some kind of weird shop that it was like, yeah, I gave him $100 for it. Man, you want to talk about a pain in the ass to lift up, to move around and pick it up. And but we'd do all kinds of stuff playing with it. But yeah, mercury's heavy, very dense. You could set all kinds of stuff on top of it. All kinds of things float on mercury.
I believe it's a slow poisoning too, right?
Yes.
It's very slow, correct?
Yes.
So it literally breaks you down, guys.
Well, it first of all, it will absorb into your skin and get into your bloodstream, and it's kind of like one of those permanent things. Once it's in, it's in. There's no getting it out. So it's bad. Like lead poisoning. It makes people autistic in some cases. It kills some people. Lead does a lot of bad things to the human body. Mercury does too. But I wouldn't go as far as saying that mercury is like a big, huge threat as compared to lead. Lead was put in everything.
Oh, paint and everything.
Yeah. It was in the fuel. You know, people walked around every day, all the way up until what I think the 90s is when they had to start making everybody sell unleaded gas. So like maybe 93 was the last year they sold leaded gas. And I know there's some manufacturers that still make leaded gas for certain machines that they run today.
Oh wow. So anything else on red mercury?
Maybe we should put mercury in gasoline and burn it in our engines, and it will make it run better. And it might burn hot enough to make some red mercury.
In short, I think, so you don't think red mercury actually exists?
No, I don't think.
Despite all of the claims on the net.
If it does, it exists in a very expensive lab, and a lot of very tight-assed people have control over it. So it's not something that you or I or anyone would be able to find and purchase. Now, there's a lot of claims online, but there are a lot of scammers that are on the internet. So as far as purchasing it, no, I don't see it.
So in short, I think the only red mercury we know for sure exists is the one that Ford makes.
That's right.
So
then we're wrong. There is a red mercury.
There is red mercury out there.
Yeah, the Ford red mercury.
And it's not really that expensive.
No, it's a lot cheaper. I mean, that's cheaper than a kilogram of red mercury, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah.
I think that's about it, guys. We hope you enjoyed our little experiment. We hope it wowed some of you guys at first. That was the point.
It was just for fun.
But we wanted to demonstrate and bring to you the legend and conspiracy regarding red mercury. So I think that's going to do it today on Dimensions. So stay tuned for the next episode, guys. Mad Scientist here.